Well, the new areas are definitely going to be pretty different. I would say that if you look at the Death Knight starting experience from Wrath of the Lich King, that's the, I guess, the model of epicness, I would say, to an extent, that we want to try to match for, at the very least, for the new starting zones, for the Goblin experience and the Worgen experience. There's certainly a chance that other dungeons will get the heroic treatment and be brought more up to date. We chose the Shadowfang Keep because it tied in so well with the Worgen storyline and all that sort of stuff. It made sense to redo it, and plus it's one of our old favorites. We may update those bosses and all that sort of thing also to mirror the new experience. I'm guessing that's what's going to make the most sense. The guild advancement is a way to get cool stuff and perks through your guild, but it's not character power. So I think it's going to be very important philosophically for us to not be making characters a lot more powerful by having them in guilds that are leveled up. So that there isn't a big disparity in terms of what kind of content you can do because you're a level 20 guild versus a level 10 guild. It's going to be more about conveniences and perks. Things like when I first sort of revealed it in the Cataclysm preview, things like getting cheaper repairs for your durability hits, or getting things like mass resurrection, so that after you wipe in a raid, you can resurrect everybody at once rather than having your healers resurrect them one at a time. You'll be able to group up with number of people required for Battleground. And at any given time, one Battleground will be featured as this week's rated Battleground. So, for example, if it happened to be Arathi Basin weekend, then during that week it would be you'd be able to queue for rated Arathi Basin battles. The idea there is to concentrate the population, and that'll switch every week as the weekly Battleground switches. And you'll queue up as a group. You go in there, and depending on whether or not you win or lose, you'll either gain some rating and gain some arena points effectively. We may rename the arena points, but essentially what you'd be doing is getting another way to get arena points. And the idea here is for it to be somewhat different from the arena system in that it's an advancement-based system where you won't lose rating for losses. You'll only gain rating for wins, but you won't gain it for not winning. So the idea there being that, in a group of 15 players, for example, with Arathi Basin, you as an individual have a lot less control over whether or not you win or lose. And we want it to be pretty pug friendly to do the rated Battlegrounds, pretty friendly to whoever bringing along people's friends, that sort of thing. So we want to make sure that you aren't losing progress if you lose a battle. We've always had all those kinds of internal discussions about, what are we okay with, what are we not okay with. Everything's got like a different value on the sliminess meter. So, as much as possible, what we want to do is stay away from things that we would consider to be really kind of slimy. And, different people have different opinions about where all that kind of stuff plays out. But one of our core philosophies is for players to be able to play with each other. And the Horta Split has always been one of those things that ends up making it very difficult for people that didn't realize the implications of what they were choosing when they first chose it were going to have, especially when they didn't know that, like, for example, you end up, finding out that a friend of yours plays WoW and he plays on the other side that you do. So you'd really like to play with him at some point, but you kind of can't. You're really invested in the side that you're on, and you're both kind of stuck. And we want people like that to be able to play with each other.